Geopolitical Report for June 24, 2026, generated by AI Agent, acting as Senior Geopolitical Analyst. Date of preparation, June 24, 2026. June 24, 2026, President Trump clarifies conditions for release of frozen Iranian funds. U.S. President Donald Trump clarified that any release of frozen Iranian funds negotiated in the Swiss peace talks must be restricted exclusively to the purchase of food and medical supplies from the United States. This decision aims to maintain maximum pressure while allowing humanitarian relief. Market impact, neutral. June 23, 2026, NATO Secretary-General Rutte visits Washington to address force posture. NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte commenced a high-level diplomatic visit to Washington to discuss the Pentagon's 6-month European force posture review. The discussions aim to address European security concerns and ensure commitments on U.S. deterrence policies. Market impact, neutral. June 22, 2026, U.S. relaxes sanctions on Iranian petroleum through General License X. The U.S. Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, issued General License X, temporarily authorizing transactions related to the production, sale, delivery, and offloading of Iranian crude oil and petroleum products. The authorization is effective through August 21, 2026, marking a significant temporary relaxation in U.S. sanctions. Market impact, bearish. June 22, 2026, Vice President J.D. Vance announces Swiss peace negotiations foundation with Iran. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance stated that high-level negotiations held in Switzerland have established a strong foundation for a final peace agreement. The preliminary framework includes agreements on the return of international nuclear inspectors and the creation of safe transit corridors. Market impact, bullish. June 22, 2026, Reuters Ipsos poll shows public skepticism over U.S.-Iran preliminary peace deal. A public opinion survey concluded that only 25% of Americans view the conflict with Iran as worth its costs. Additionally, 63% of respondents expressed doubt that the preliminary Swiss agreement will lead to a lasting regional peace. Market impact, neutral. June 20, 2026, U.S. financial markets reprice bond yields on hawkish Fed stance under Chair Warsh. U.S. Treasury markets adjusted yields higher as traders digested the Fed's recent hawkish decision to hold rates at 3.5% to 3.75%. Dot plot projections indicating possible future hikes have dampened expectations for near-term rate cuts. Market impact, bearish. June 19, 2026, U.S. Bank Policy Institute urges regulatory reform on GSIB capital surcharges. Major financial trade groups submitted comment letters criticizing overlapping stress test charges. The groups urged regulators to refine GSIB capital surcharge calculations to avoid hampering economic growth. Market impact, bullish. June 19, 2026, Iranian technical negotiations in Switzerland delayed amid military frictions. Swiss diplomatic sources confirmed that Iranian negotiators temporarily delayed scheduled technical discussions. The delays were attributed to recent Israeli airstrikes in southern Lebanon, which Iran viewed as a breach of goodwill. Market impact, neutral. June 24, 2026, European powers express alarm over Chinese naval activity east of Taiwan. Great Britain, France, and Germany issued a rare joint statement warning that new Chinese naval maneuvers east of Taiwan threaten maritime safety. They emphasized that these actions compromise the freedom of navigation and regional stability. Market impact, bearish. June 24, 2026, Premier Li Qiang challenges Western narrative of China economic threat at Summer Davos. Chinese Premier Li Qiang addressed Dalian's Summer Davos, describing China's high-tech rise as Opportunity 2.0 and arguing that industrial subsidies are WTO compliant. He emphasized that the Chinese economy remains a stable haven of certainty in an uncertain world. Market impact, neutral. June 23, 2026, China's Fujian aircraft carrier transits Taiwan Strait amid readiness drills. The PLA Navy's newest aircraft carrier, the Fujian, sailed through the Taiwan Strait immediately following the commencement of Taiwanese defense drills. This deployment has significantly raised local military tensions in the region. Market impact, bearish. June 23, 2026, ByteDance negotiates $20 billion offshore loan for artificial intelligence investments. TikTok's parent company ByteDance is in discussions with global banks to secure a record-large offshore loan to finance AI infrastructure and chip design. The company is actively scaling up its investments in proprietary technologies. Market impact, bullish. June 23, 2026, Alibaba files federal lawsuit against U.S. Pentagon military blacklist. Alibaba Group filed a lawsuit in California contesting its inclusion on the U.S. Defense Department's 1260H military blacklist. The company argues that the designation is arbitrary, capricious, and lacks factual basis. Market impact, neutral. June 22, 2026, China imposes retaliatory export controls on U.S. companies over blacklist. China's Ministry of Commerce announced export controls targeting 10 U.S. firms and banned 46 others from government procurement. The retaliatory action comes in response to the Pentagon's blacklist expansion of Chinese companies. Market impact, bearish. June 22, 2026, Taiwan commences immediate combat readiness drills to deter Chinese threats. Taiwan's military began 5 days of urgent drills to test rapid defensive mobilization in response to simulated sudden incursions by PLA naval and air patrols. The exercises highlight concerns over a shrinking warning window for a potential conflict. Market impact, neutral. June 19, 2026, EU leaders meet in Brussels to harden defenses against Chinese trade deficit. The European Council concluded discussions on Chinese industrial capacity, directing the European Commission to build robust trade defenses. The move signals a hardening European stance on trade imbalances with Beijing. Market impact, bearish. June 24, 2026, European Commission declares non-Eurozone members unprepared for currency adoption. The European Commission issued its convergence report stating that EU member states currently outside the Eurozone do not meet all criteria required for adopting the single currency. The report highlights ongoing economic divergence among member states. Market impact, neutral. June 24, 2026, European Commission proposes tax simplification omnibus for cross-border businesses. The European Commission released a new direct tax simplification initiative intended to reduce administrative complexity. The proposal aims to lower compliance overhead for companies operating across multiple EU borders. Market impact, bullish. June 23, 2026, EU hosts unofficial Taliban delegation in Brussels for migration talks. EU officials met with a Taliban delegation in Brussels to discuss migration and deportation coordination. The meeting sparked protests due to the Taliban's lack of official international recognition. Market impact, neutral. June 23, 2026, European Commission prepares to escalate addictive feature investigation against Meta. The European Commission advanced its probe into Meta platforms, alleging that Instagram and Facebook utilize algorithms designed to induce behavioral addiction. The investigation focuses on protecting children from harmful online designs. Market impact, bearish. June 22, 2026, European Commission launches €1.1 billion call for transport infrastructure upgrades. The EU announced a funding initiative under the Connecting Europe facility targeting railway modernization and the decarbonization of maritime shipping. The program also prioritizes improving military mobility across the continent. Market impact, bullish. June 22, 2026, EU-Moldova summit concludes in Brussels with security funding commitments. EU leaders von der Leyen and Costa hosted Moldovan President Sandu, reviewing EU accession progress and unlocking €504 million. They also announced a new €120 million security support package to enhance Moldova's resilience against hybrid threats. Market impact, neutral. June 19, 2026, EU Commissioner Sikela visits Brazil to secure critical raw materials. Commissioner Joseph Sikela conducted bilateral meetings in Brazil to negotiate EU access to critical minerals. The discussions also focused on coordinating security policy regarding global digital supply chains. Market impact, bullish. June 19, 2026, European Council directs Commission to fortify trade defenses against China. EU leaders met in Brussels to address persistent trade deficits, instructing the Commission to leverage defensive trade mechanisms. The directive aims to protect European markets from heavily subsidized imports. Market impact, bearish. June 24, 2026, Ukrainian long-range drones strike Orenburg gas and helium plants in Russia. Ukrainian drones targeted the Orenburg gas processing plant and Orenburg helium plant over 1,200 kilometers from the border, causing fires at Russia's sole helium production facility. The strike highlights the expanding reach of Ukraine's drone campaign against critical infrastructure. Market impact, bullish. June 24, 2026, Kremlin rejects imminent peace talks with Ukraine, citing demands. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov stated that there are no agreements for a new round of peace talks with Kyiv. The statement reiterated that Vladimir Putin's territorial demands remain non-negotiable for Russia. Market impact, neutral. June 24, 2026, Kenya braces for nationwide Gen Z memorial protests amid security alerts. Kenyan security agencies deployed heavily as Gen Z organizers called for nationwide memorials and boycotts on June 25. The events commemorate the anniversary of the 2024 tax protests and demand government accountability. Market impact, bearish. June 22, 2026, Ukrainian drone strike damages Dubna Space Communications Center near Moscow. The Ukrainian military launched a targeted drone strike damaging antennae and operations buildings at Dubna, Russia's largest ground-based satellite communication hub. The facility is vital for military communications and satellite relay systems. Market impact, neutral. June 21, 2026, right-wing outsider Abelardo de la Espriella wins Colombian presidency. In a highly polarized runoff election, far-right lawyer Abelardo de la Espriella defeated leftist Senator Iván Cepeda with 49.66% of the vote. The victory has triggered protests in major cities like Bogotá and Cali. Market impact, bullish. June 20, 2026, global maritime shippers maintain Cape route avoidance despite straight hopes. Major ocean carriers, including Maersk, confirmed that detours around the Cape of Good Hope will continue indefinitely due to elevated threat levels from Yemen's Houthi rebels in the Red Sea. The shipping restrictions continue to impact global supply chains. Market impact, bullish. June 19, 2026, Israel and Hezbollah agree to fragile ceasefire in Lebanon. Brokered by the US and Qatar, a ceasefire was agreed to in southern Lebanon, though initial fighting delayed concurrent US-Iran technical peace talks. The ceasefire appeared to be largely holding by June 22. Market impact, bearish. June 24, 2026, equities markets experience technology sector rout and valuation adjustments. Global equity markets faced downward pressure as investors rotated out of highly valued semiconductor and technology firms. The shift reflects growing skepticism over rich equity valuations in a persistent high interest rate environment. Market impact, bearish. June 24, 2026, bond markets reprice yields higher on hawkish Federal Reserve outlook. Treasury yields remained elevated following the FOMC meeting where Chair Kevin Warsh signaled that rates will stay higher for longer. Dot plot projections indicating possible future hikes have dampened expectations for near-term rate cuts. Market impact, bearish. June 24, 2026, commodity markets eased on US-Iran moratorium and easing energy concerns. Global crude oil and energy commodity prices experienced downward pressure following the issuance of General License X by OFAC, which temporarily permits Iranian oil transactions. This eased worries over supply constraints in the Strait of Hormuz. Market impact, bearish. June 24, 2026, Forex markets witness US dollar strength supported by high interest rates. The US dollar index maintained its upward momentum against major currencies, including the euro and yen, due to the Fed's hawkish policy stance. Emerging market currencies faced pressure as capital rotated to USD assets. Market impact, bullish.